In my last Death Stranding video, I talked about an interview that Hideo Kojima participated in with Brazilian late-night show The Noite, where he provided some updates on the game's development. Now, the entirety of the interview was conducted in Portuguese, so I had to rely on a translation provided by a Reddit user to relay its information. According to the translation, Kojima stated that all of Death Stranding's characters have been scanned into the game, and that the game is in a stage of development that's comparable to the editing phase of a movie. But as many Portuguese speakers pointed out to me over the past days, turns out that much of that translation was misleading. So I've decided to make this video to provide some clarifications on what Kojima actually said. A more accurate translation that I was directed to comes from website Metal Gear Informer by a community member named Thiago Tolentino. One segment that wasn't in the previous translation was this question regarding how long Death Stranding has been in development. Kojima replied that it's been about a year and a half since he founded his company and searched for a platform, so that's how long Death Stranding has been in development. It's actually been closer to 2 years now since then, about a year and 3/4, but whatever, you get the idea. Moving on, when asked about the game's development status, whereas the previous translation alleged that Kojima said all characters were scanned into the game, and that the game's development is in the equivalent of a movie's editing phase, the more loyal translation of Kojima's response goes as follows. I can't say how much percent, but there is a planning. It is all done already. It has all the characters and I have to test it. The game needs to be tested. You have to make it on a computer to see if the game will please or not. You need to be keeping an eye on this, but you will also be putting details to fix what's not. So I'm still putting these details yet. It is not like a movie where you take out and cut and paste and it's over. Every day you have something that you add, something that you take out. And I'm in that stage of adding, taking out, making some changes here and there. Another translation was provided to me directly by a Twitter user, which goes as follows. I can't say much the percentage it's finished, but there is the game plan, and it's already done with all characters. And I have to test, right? The game must be tested. You make it on the computer so you can see if people gonna like it or not. And then you test that, but you put details too to fix what is wrong. So I'm fixing those details. It's not like a movie that you shoot, cut, paste, edit, and it's done. With games, every day you have something new you have to put or cut out. The translator then added, so Kojima never said all characters were fully scanned. He said all characters are done in the game plan phase. That means on paper. In other words, Kojima never used the word scan, so we don't know if all actors have been cast yet, but we do know that all characters are at least ready on a conceptual level to be implemented. Furthermore, what Kojima was saying about comparing game development with filmmaking was that the process was different, not similar. He wasn't saying that Death Stranding is in a stage that's akin to the editing phase of a movie, but rather that making games is not like movies where you do principal photography and from there you take out and cut and paste and it's over. Rather, every day Kojima and team are adding, taking out, making changes, tweaking, so on and so forth, and this is a process that continues all the way to the very end of development. So yeah, it's an important distinction to make. I don't want to give the impression that the game is almost done or anything like that. While the game has clearly made significant headway since we last heard about it, it's still got a long way to go before it's finished. Fortunately, the translation on whether Kojima's meticulousness might have an effect on the game's release date is still the same. Kojima reassured that it's not like that and that all is going according to plan, meaning that Death Stranding is still scheduled to release before Akira's 2019 setting, which was the hint that Kojima provided during Tokyo Game Show 2016. That means we're still probably looking at a late 2018 or early 2019 release window, which would mark a 3-year development cycle in total for Death Stranding. Now, before you say that seems unrealistic, keep in mind that this time Kojima's actually borrowing someone else's game engine and tweaking it rather than creating his own from scratch, which is why this game is bound to take much less time to make than something like Metal Gear Solid 5, which involved building the Fox engine from scratch before they could really kick development into full gear. Long story short, the game is at a point where all the characters are ready, but we don't really know yet if they've all been cast or scanned yet. And while the game has got a solid foundation and is in a playable state, they're still adding, subtracting, and tweaking extensively. Here's hoping that all goes well and that the game does end up launching a year to a year and a half from now. And throughout that time, I hope Kojima eventually unveils what the hell this game even is beyond the vague footage and details we currently have. I'm all for mysteries and all that, but we have to get a semblance of what this game is at some point if Kojima intends to convince people to buy it. I have my fingers crossed for a Game Awards 2017 world premiere of Death Stranding gameplay or something along those lines, which I think is entirely possible. Not only did Guillermo del Toro hint not too long ago that Kojima might be showing him gameplay of Death Stranding soon privately, which might suggest that Kojima's prepping for a public showcase of gameplay, Kojima has also changed his Twitter account's banner to a loading screen with his company's logo, almost as if he's gearing up to show something, as if he's saying, "Loading, wait people, something's coming real soon." As of the making of this video, we are just 9 days away from the Game Awards event, so we'll know for sure soon. Anyway, with that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video informative, and if you enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon to help this channel stay independent and self-sustained. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.